And in case you haven't met my companion, Lord Snaggletooth, he is actually a retired service dog and service dog teacher. So I promise, even if he's wandering around a bit, he will not misbehave. He's got a little cough. So that's just how dogs cough. I am so glad to be here again at the CSE. I always have wonderful adventures whenever I connect with you all. Today I want to talk to you about one of my favorite words, which is faith. I love this word because it's provocative. The moment people hear the word faith, we have an automatic response. And it tells a lot about like our childhood and our upbringing, including religious upbringing. Sometimes when I say the word faith to someone, they say, "How dare you tell me what to believe?" I'm like, well, no, I'm not. I'm saying a word. And other people, I say the word faith, and I just feel immediately open up and light up like a light bulb turned on. It's just a beautiful, beautiful word that tells us a great deal about who we are. It's also, I feel like faith is actually a process. Scientists have a great deal of faith. My stepfather is a geologist, and my background is with food science and nutrition. So he and I have a great deal of fun, and I'm a passionate amateur earth scientist. So we have a lot of fun discussing science. But of course, if we're talking about crystals and rocks, with my background, I'm also talking about what kind of energy can flow through a crystal and what kind of beings you can connect with, and the mythology of crystals. So I'll hold a quartz and I'll talk about the energy flow, the healing values, the meditative values, the cultural connections. And he'll look and he'll say, oh, well, this definitely comes from Brazil, probably from this mine, and you can see by this and this and that. And he will technically analyze it. It is amazing, though, how compatible our information is, always. So when we break down the science and the spiritual, it is amazing how the two of them blend together perfectly. When I talk about the kind of energy that flows and what sort of energetic structure and network, what kind of mandalas and chakras it needs to flow that way. And he'll talk about the crystalline cleavage and structure and the molecular bonding of the crystal. They are always compatible. So we come together when we speak with faith, even though we're coming from two separate positions. We have appreciation and value and faith that the other one will hear what we say. And then when we communicate, it's a beautiful, beautiful blending. So I bring my parents to as many, out there events as I can. And you can tell my biography here. When I say I get out there, I can get way out there. Because I believe faith works better if you have a little bit of a structure to base it on. If I can see that a guru in front of me is levitating in the air, I might go, well, I don't have faith that I can levitate because I'm sitting and I'm like, I can hold my breath. I can kind of it's not happening, but I see someone else doing it. So I have faith that if I learn what they know, I would be able to do this as well. So the question goes from not, is it possible or impossible, but if I want what they have, how do I get there? And is that a process I wish to take? I will say I have levitated now 3 times, a little bit for a short period of time, and it's pretty wild. But I don't know yet how I did it. I know the state I was in. And I also know that as soon as I'm like, oh, I'm levitating, bam, I'm down on the ground. But again, as they say, it's not the destination, it's the journey. And it's a wonderful journey because instead of being filled with doubt, I'm filled with faith. I don't necessarily have faith that I will ever become like a master levitator, but I do have faith that this exists in reality. And when I talk with people who are able to do this extraordinary thing, like I have seen people levitate very high. And I know in spiritualism with table tipping, this happens. And you also have people who have levitated on ectoplasm, things like that. I see Steve nodding your head in the background. So this is not incompatible with the faith system that occurs in spiritualism. And I mean, how can anything that is physically occurring be incompatible with any reality, actually? But it just matters, do you have faith? Do you, in it? If you have faith that this can exist, then it can exist. So that makes me extend it even further. Well, if my faith allows for the existence of something in my perception, what else do I wish to have faith in? And this is a personal choice. This is entirely personal. What I choose to have faith in will be different from what you choose to, and of course there will be crossovers. I imagine everyone in this room wants the world to be as filled with joy and love and kindness as we can cram into our planet. There's compatibilities in there. But our personal avenues of faith are unique for each of us. I was raised Unitarian before the church merged with Universalism. And we were taught that every single person needs to decide their own belief system. The caveat is your belief system should be one that spreads love and kindness upon the planet, and that you have a respectful, open mind to all other belief systems, no matter what they are. If it's a belief system that you feel is not love and kindness, still find out why would this happen, learn from it, grow from it. And certainly, we spend a lot of time asking questions. Like my favorite Unitarian hymn is, "The only thing I got a lot of faith in is I got a lot of questions." I love that hymn because it's about the eternal why, the eternal how, the pursuing, the going forward. This is the same when I talk with my stepfather, the scientist, that the scientific method is. It's you put a lot of information out there, you explore, you research, and then what do you come up with? You won't know till you're there. I teach spoon bending classes. We are told, I can do that here sometime. Or if you want to do a co-taught class, that would be a blast. Yeah. So you have an object, a thick, heavy object that cannot be bent. And I take my tiny little, not too muscular fingers, and I make this object very relaxed, and the next thing you know, it's tied up in a knot and a pretzels. I have pictures of this on my website, bonitawoods.org or .com, both will take you there. And, I teach classes where I'll get a room full of people, and the first person who bends the spoons is always the person who doesn't believe this can happen. They're there to keep some friend or spouse, or significant other company. They're the first ones because they're like emotionally neutral, and they're like, oh, look, I did it. And the person who wants it so bad will usually be the last person to do it. Because the person who doesn't believe in it is open for things to happen. They don't have any emotional hang-up over the outcome. And the person who wants it so much has to calm themselves down so they can do it. So I personally believe faith is about bringing ourselves to a state of neutrality so we can see what reality wishes to present itself, and then decide for ourselves, where do we wish to go forward? Does this make sense to you all? Yeah. It doesn't matter where your faith is. It's like a guiding light saying, hey, do you want to check out over here, or do you want to check out over there? And you're like, I think I like that. I'm attracted to it. I want to get from here to there, so I will go forward with faith and see what happens. It's a road marker, you know? And as we go forward in life, we need these guiding lights. We need these inspirations. We need these road markers to get us out of where we're at to where we want to be. Even if where you're at now is where you wanted to be before, and you get there, you still want to go. You still want to grow and evolve. Faith is part of what takes us there. When, you know, my stepfather does scientific experiments, he will, you know, as all geologists are trying to determine how the earth was created and predict how the earth will continue to create. And he will say, here's my theory. Here's what I think happened. And then he'll go and he'll dig up rocks and he'll analyze them and he'll study the molecular and the chemical breakdown and all of that. And he'll go, wow, my theory was not correct. Here is what I've found out. We now have a new theory. We have a new avenue. He said, you cannot predetermine what you will believe, or your science will always be faulty. You always have a concept you go forward with, and then reality takes you to truth. And when you're in the resonance of truth, there you are. There's no morality, there's no inference. You're in the resonance of truth. And I believe faith is a guiding system to get you on the path going forward to find truth. It may be a technical truth, or it may be your personal truth. But once you find the resonance of truth, really, that's when we light up. That's when we're like, wow, there's no disbelief, there's no self-questioning. You know, I think really the biggest lack of faith we have is usually lack of faith in ourselves. Like I said, I see these gurus levitating, and I'm like, I have full faith that you're levitating. I have no faith I can levitate. And they go, oh, of course you can. If we can do it, you can do it. I'm like, well, yes, but how do I do it? And they said, well, you have to believe you can do it. And that is their whole process of all the years of meditation, energy alignment, skill development, is not necessarily to learn the formula of levitation, but to release all the personal disbelief so that they can be purely within the resonance of truth, that they can do this. So what I would like to do now is do a quick, I wouldn't say meditation so much as introspection. Oh, yeah. Snag's very friendly. Do a quick introspection to our hearts and send the word faith there and see what pops up. It may be an emotion of excitement, it may be a memory or a hope, or it may be a self-protection. So I'd like you to go in and have a little conversation. Just close your eyes and breathe and send the word faith to your heart. And see, what does your heart respond with? Whatever it responds with is absolutely perfect, because it's what your body and soul is telling you you need to be aware of within yourself. It may be a guiding, yes, faith takes us here. Or it may be a, no, you can't have faith. How dare you think that? Then ask why. And you will get something within you that needs to be released from you. A memory or a limiting belief. If you get that, just send love to it and give it permission to release. And then send the word faith to your heart a second time. See what pops up. And then give yourself a moment just to send love to your heart. Thank your heart for having the courage to converse with you. in this way. Send love to your whole self because you deserve it. And then return to me, to this room and space. I encourage you, when you have time, to take little moments and speak to your heart this way. Speak to you can send any word to your heart and see how it responds. Faith is a good one because faith is about opening beliefs and going forward boldly. But you can send any word to your heart, and however your heart responds, if there's anything in there below the resonance of love, then send love to that and give it permission to release, because it doesn't need to stay there. And there's anything that is filled with love and joy, embrace it and invite it to fill the word, faith, or whatever word you choose, with you to help you with your journey forward. Thank you so much.